I would say it probably out of the womb. I don't remember not having feelings of that sort. It was a struggle. It was a big struggle up until I'd say in my 20s even. But when I was a child, it was a struggle in the sense that um, I knew innately that it was not something I could talk about. I can't even tell you where the message came through to me that I couldn't talk about it, but I knew that it was something not to talk about, which made it more frightening because it was clandestine. I was intimidated by everything, even the desires, and I wanted to get rid of them. That was really what was going on. My family coming out was kind of a peculiar thing. My parents, I wrote them a letter. I took the cowardly way out and wrote them a little letter and left it on the dining room table. I don't even remember exactly what time in my life, except that it was like late high school, early after high school. I regret that I did it the way with my mother and father that I did because I didn't allow an open dialogue. I kept the doors shut. We never had a real conversation about being gay, and that's maybe one of the more disappointing things about the choice I made with them. Things happened throughout my adult life that my mother would say something. My father never ever said anything, but my mother would say things that referred to the fact. Never referred to the letter, but it referred to the fact. Like one time she referred to it as my immorality. And then later, as she got more, I guess, comfortable with who I was, I had a lover who had died, and she came up to just visit around that time. Supportive. It was a supportive visit, awkward but supportive. And as she was leaving, she said to me, "I really am sorry for your loss." And different little breakthroughs like that helped to bring it to the point where it is now, where she adores Stanley. She just thinks he's the best thing since who knows what. Pennsylvania, in a little college town called Lewisburg. And so there was a little bit of open-mindedness available. But at the same time, it was a farm area, so you had that element strong. Early in the game, I was the sissy. I was the boy who liked to play with dolls and the toy dishes and all the girl things. That's what I liked. I was labeled the class queer. It was upsetting. It was through grade school, it just made me sad, and I had a lot of friends that were girls. And then as high school came along, it became kind of overbearing, and I had to learn devices to protect myself. And like one of them was I'd be late for a certain class because I took a different route. Along the other route were all the guys that were going to pick on me and call me names and things like that. So the whole high school experience was a nightmare. I just hated all of it. I stayed to my close-knit group, which was maybe one or two people. It wasn't a lot of people. And there were two teachers who ran the theater area. They weren't theater teachers, but they were teachers who did it as extracurricular thing. And I got close to them. So that was where I kind of kept my sanity. One of the options of getting out was to commit suicide. That was one of the actual options. It's not to say I tried it often, but it was the sort of thing that, what do I do to make this stop? And it was like the pain of dealing with being that different. Because in the 60s and the 70s, it was really to be that different. And you knew that people who were that way suffered. So it was constantly either trying to protect myself, keeping out of mean people's way, just any device to keep hidden and in the corner and out of the way, because I didn't want to be trampled. The first real time where I could let my hair down and just let it all out was when I moved to New York. 76 was right after Stonewall. The gay rights movement was taking hold. Everybody was doing something political. There were groups that were developed to have people meet other people, because now we could actually meet each other out. You could actually meet somebody, because back in the 60s, you had to do it on the sly. You had to luck out if you had a partner. And this, in the 70s, it was now you could meet people, you could have groups that actually put a banner up someplace or put a sign up someplace or advertise someplace. At that time, it was a big, big deal to open a news, like the Blade then was this much different than it is now. And you'd open it and there'd be ads and it was like cornucopia full of candy. Like I remember stuffing envelopes for hours and being just in hog heaven, you know, because I was doing something that connected with who I was, and that was good. That was important. I appreciate the plight that you're in because you're encouraged to be out, and maybe you're not ready for it yet, and that's something to consider. Is silence sometimes really is golden, and to think very, very hard about whether it's time to come out now, you know. That's not to say you aren't sure of yourself or don't know yourself, but sometimes it's to your advantage just in the politic of living life. I know that sounds a little bit like I'm asking to be a hypocrite, but it's not. It's just simply pacing yourself. Look for resources. If you're going to be out, definitely there's safety in numbers. I hope mentoring, the mentoring scene with adult, older gay people and younger gay people grows, okay? It's, I think, in its infancy, but I think that's something that's important right now.